This message is not for the many, it is for the few. Not for the crowd, but for the remnant. For those who have felt the fire and walked through the storm. Who have been broken not to be destroyed, but to be remade. The wilderness is not rejection, it's preparation. This truth is often hidden in the silence, in the loneliness, and in the seasons that feel like delay. When life seems to pull you away from the noise, from the platform, from recognition, it is not because you are being cast aside, it's because you are being set apart. The wilderness is the proving ground of the chosen. It is the sacred space where God does his deepest work, away from the applause of man, away from the distractions of the world. And though it feels like rejection, it is in fact one of the highest honors. To be called into the wilderness, every chosen one, every soul marked by divine purpose has walked through the wilderness. Joseph was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and cast into prison, not because he was forgotten, but because he was being formed. Moses spent 40 years in the desert before leading a nation. David was anointed king but sent back to tend sheep. Even Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness before he began his ministry. This is not coincidence, it is a divine pattern. The wilderness is not the absence of God, it is the intense presence of him, burning away everything that does not belong to your calling. In the wilderness, God strips away the false identity that the world tried to put on you. He confronts your fears, your doubts, your pride, and your dependence on things that were never meant to carry you. It is a place of pruning, refining, and breaking, not to harm, but to Just like gold must be purified in fire, so too must the chosen be purified in hiddenness. It is in the silence that you learn to hear his voice. It is in the lack that you learn his sufficiency. It is in the solitude that you discover your true strength. But here's what the world won't tell you. The wilderness is not a delay, it's a divine acceleration. What happens in that hidden place will become the foundation for everything that comes after. Without the wilderness, the platform would crush you. Without the pruning, the fruit would rot before it ripens. God does not take you into the wilderness to punish you. He takes you there to prepare you, to get Egypt out of you before he brings you into the promised land. Some of you are in that wilderness right now. You've been questioning the silence. You've been doubting your worth because the doors haven't opened. But let me tell you, you're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly where you need to be. The wilderness is not evidence that God has left you, it's proof that he has chosen you. He only prunes the branches that bear fruit. He only tests the vessel he intends to use. So, don't despise the hidden season. Don't curse the ground beneath your feet when it feels dry. The desert you're walking through may very well be holy ground, and when you finally step into the light, when the door opens and the call goes public, you will carry with you something that only the wilderness could give. A quiet authority, a tested faith, a strength that was not inherited, but forged. The wilderness is not rejection. It's preparation for the weight of glory you were always meant to carry. Isolation precedes revelation. It is in the moments when you are most alone, when the noise of the world has faded and the familiar faces are nowhere to be found, that heaven begins to whisper truths too sacred for the crowd. The chosen ones know this well, not because they sought isolation, but because it found them. It comes not as punishment, but as invitation, an invitation into deeper understanding, deeper communion, deeper identity. The kind of revelation that shapes destinies does not come in the spotlight, it comes in the shadows. Throughout history, every man and woman, marked for something greater, walked through a season of isolation. Elijah fled to the wilderness and heard God not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the still, small voice. Paul was taken into Arabia before he preached to the nations. Even John, the beloved disciple, was exiled to Patmos, and it was there, cut off from the world, that he received the revelation. When God wants to show you something that will change your life and the lives of others, He will often first remove you from the distractions that have been shaping your thoughts and your pace. In isolation, the masks fall off. There's no one to impress, no one to perform for. It is just you and the mirror of truth. And though it is painful at times, this solitude is sacred. It's where your soul begins to detox from the world's lies, where the voice of God, once drowned by opinions and expectations, begins to rise again. Many fear isolation because it feels like abandonment, but for the chosen, it is actually alignment. God is not turning away from you. He is turning you toward Him. In that space, He begins to reveal not just who He is, but who you are. The titles, the achievements, the roles, those fall away, and what is left is the raw, unfiltered version of you. And it is in that version, the honest version, that revelation is born. Ideas, visions, and clarity that seemed unreachable suddenly become accessible, not because you tried harder, but because you became still. And that stillness becomes sacred ground for transformation. But make no mistake, this isolation will be misunderstood. Others may think you're distant, disconnected, or even lost, but you're not lost. You're being located. God is shifting your position, preparing you to see what cannot be seen from the crowd. The revelation you carry on the other side of isolation will not just be for you, it will feed nations, heal hearts, break chains. But you cannot carry that kind of revelation until you've been emptied of noise. It is in isolation that dependency on others fades and intimacy with God deepens. You learn not to cling to affirmation, not to chase after relevance. You start to hear differently, see differently, move differently. And when God finally releases you back into the world, you are not the same person who entered the silence. You come back carrying fire, not a fire lit by ambition, but by communion, a revelation that came not from textbooks or mentors, but from the mouth of God Himself. So if you find yourself alone right now, don't resist it. Lean into it. Ask not to escape the isolation, but to receive what was meant for you in it. Because once you've tasted that kind of revelation, once you've been marked by what only solitude can reveal, you will never see isolation the same again. It is not your exile, it is your encounter. Welcome to our world. It is one that we can only understand. It is not your punishment, it is your preparation. Isolation always precedes revelation. The crushing comes before the crowning. It is a truth few want to hear, but all who are truly chosen must endure. The weight of purpose does not come without a pressing. The oil that anoints kings does not flow without the olive being crushed. And so it is with you. Before you walk in authority, before you are entrusted with influence, you must be broken. Not to destroy you, but to release what was always inside of you. The crushing is not the end. It is the beginning of something sacred. Every crown in history, every true mantle of leadership was preceded by a season of deep breaking. Joseph wore the robe of favor, but before he wore the crown of Egypt, he was stripped, betrayed, and thrown into a pit. He was crushed under the weight of betrayal, of false accusations, of forgotten promises. And yet it was in that crushing that his character was forged, his faith refined, and his heart made ready to steward power without arrogance. The crushing removes what cannot go with you into your calling. Pride, insecurity, dependence on man's approval, all of it must die in the crushing. It feels like loss, but it is actually gain. What is being taken from you is what would have sabotaged the promise. What is being broken in you is what would have broken others if left untouched. God allows the crushing, not because He is cruel, but because He loves you too much to let you arrive unprepared. You see, the crushing is personal. It touches places in you that no one else sees. It reaches into the hidden corners of your heart, the unresolved pain, the silent fears, the wounds you never spoke of. And in that place, where it feels like everything is falling apart, something deeper is being built. A foundation that can carry the crown. A strength that doesn't come from comfort, but from survival. From faith that refuses to die in the dark. Those who are truly chosen often experience the crushing early and often, Because their calling is heavy, their impact is generational, and the deeper the crushing, the purer the oil. You were not chosen for ease, you were chosen for weight. And before God places that weight on your shoulders, He presses the impurities out of your spirit. You may have cried in silence, you may have questioned the pain, but nothing was wasted. Every tear watered something in you that had to grow before the crown could rest on your head. It is tempting to run from the crushing, to pray for escape, but those who understand the ways of God do not ask to be spared, they ask to be made ready, because they know that destiny without depth is dangerous. So, sometimes today, we want to tell you what we know you best hear, but we don't always know, because they know that destiny without depth is dangerous. Influence without maturity is destructive. But when you've been crushed, when you've been through the fire and came out refined, the crown will not corrupt you, it will fit. The world sees the crown, but it rarely sees the crushing that came before it. The long nights, the silent battles, the heartbreak, the loss. But the chosen understand. They see the crown not as a symbol of pride, but as a memorial of pain endured, faith kept, and battles won in secret. It's an exquisite example of how our unabashedly faulty, selfish impulses. So if you're being crushed, don't curse the season. It means the oil is near. It means the crown is being prepared. You are not being buried. You are being pressed into purpose. The crushing always comes before the crowning. And when your time comes, the weight of your story will give power to your voice, and the oil from your pressing will flow into the lives of others. You're hidden, not forgotten. There is a difference, though at first it may not feel like it. Being hidden can feel like invisibility, like your gifts are unnoticed, your efforts unrecognized, your voice unheard. It can feel like delay, like everyone else is moving forward while you remain in the shadows. But the truth is, God hides what He values. He conceals what He is protecting. And if you are in a season where it feels like no one sees you, it may be because heaven is covering you, because your time has not yet come, but it surely will. Before any great unveiling, there is always a season of concealment. Seeds are buried in the ground before they bloom. Foundations are built deep before the structure rises. Diamonds are formed in the dark before they shine. And the chosen ones, those marked for something greater, often go through long seasons of being hidden. And the logos, seed, the seed of the woman, those marked for something greater often go through long seasons of being hidden, not to be overlooked, but to be developed, not to be dismissed, but to be strengthened. There are things that must be formed in private before they can be revealed in public. When you are hidden, you are being protected from premature exposure. Exposure before preparation is dangerous. It can lead to pride, burnout, or the collapse of what was never rooted deep enough. God hides you because He knows the weight of what's coming, and He is building you for it. He is shaping your character, testing your heart, refining your motives. It's not that He forgot you, it's that He's remembering you in a way the world cannot yet see. You are not on pause, you are in process. David was anointed king while still a shepherd. He went back to tending sheep, not because he was forgotten, but because he was hidden. There were battles he had to fight in silence, lions and bears he had to overcome when no one was watching. That hiddenness prepared him for the day he would stand before Goliath and eventually sit on the throne. You see, the hidden place is not wasted time. It's the training ground. It's where your hands learn to war and your heart learns to trust. In the hidden seasons, God becomes your audience. You learn to sing when no one claps. You learn to lead when no one follows. And that is the most powerful kind of growth, when it's not about performance but about obedience, when your identity is no longer attached to the outcome but to the one who called you in the first place. That kind of foundation cannot be shaken. That kind of soul cannot be bought. It's easy to compare your journey with others when you feel hidden, but comparison is the thief of purpose. Just because someone else is in their season of visibility doesn't mean you've missed yours. Timing in the kingdom is not random, it's precise. When it's your time, nothing can stop it. But until then, let the hidden place do its work. Let it deepen your roots. Let it clarify your why. Let it build a version of you that won't crumble when the spotlight finally comes. So if you feel like no one sees you, if doors seem closed, if your name is not yet known, take heart. You're not forgotten. You're being hidden for a reason. And when God reveals you, it won't be halfway. It won't be forced. It won't be fragile. It will be right on time. And those who once overlooked you will marvel at what you carry, not knowing it was forged in the hidden place. Hidden, not forgotten. That's the mark of the chosen.